Hello everyone, my name is Danielle Shovlin, and just like my last presentation, I'm going to tell you not to do something. Tonight it's going to be don't leave it all on the field. From the time I was 5 until the time I graduated college, I played soccer, and coaches would often say, leave it on the field. By this they meant leave all your negative energy, when you're disappointed, when you're frustrated, leave that there and move on with a positive attitude and try to improve. Kids nowadays, I feel like they're swaying away from extracurricular activities and depending way too much on technology for entertainment and for socializing. Tonight I'd like to first talk about the differences between past generations and today's current generation of children. And then I would also like to talk about the disadvantages of being so reliant on technology for entertainment and for socializing. And I'd also like to talk about the benefits that cannot be replaced by technology of participating in extracurricular activities. To conclude, I'd also like to talk about steps that we as adults need to take to help children become involved and stay involved and to ensure that they reap all the benefits of involvement. So first, I'd like to talk about past generations. We had limited access to technology. I remember being in school, there were no cell phones in grade school. I think PCs became a household item, probably like 6th grade for me or so, but even then, with dial-up internet connection and everything, it was really more trouble than it was worth. We socialized in person. I remember if I was bored, I would go outside, run down to my friend's house, knock on the door, and we would stay outside, and that was our entertainment all the time. Now, with the holidays fast approaching, I'd like for you to help me out with a little exercise to prove a point I'm trying to make here. When you were little, what were some things that you would ask for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you celebrated? Anybody? Come on, you helped everybody else out. Yes?
A bike.
Like, thank you.
From the internet. No. Just X out and go into. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. Which hand is this?
No, book it. Click on it twice. There you go.
Probably has an enabled blocker again.
Yeah, something to do with the internet.
Okay, so we have a bike. Anybody else? Yes?
PlayStation. Yeah.
That's not helping.
PlayStation 1.
Aaron?
Legos.
Anybody else?
Skateboard. Sweet poker.
Good? Okay. Now, not all of you probably have kids or want kids or any of that, but what do you think kids are asking for today?
Xbox, Chromebook, iPad.
Xbox. What was the second one?
Chromebook.
I don't even know what that is.
Sorry.
But that's helping prove my point. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I think from the list, you see a little bit of a difference. You see that technology is weighing on today's kids. Okay, today, oops, sorry. Okay, today kids have access to all different technologies like the iPad, smartphones. There's so many different possibilities that, and all of these open them up to socializing, all different avenues, whether it be Facebook or texting or email or whatever. They're missing out on a lot of face-to-face like I used to partake in and going and getting my neighbor. And they may solely rely on technology for entertainment. Instead of going out and starting a game of football, they might all log on to the internet via a Xbox and play virtually instead of actually going and doing it. in an article that I read from, I believe it was titled, Steve Wozniak, he's the co-founder of Apple. He stated that he believes that teachers will someday be replaced by robots. And a bunch of technology nerds, that's their wording, not mine, also said that they don't feel that children need to be taught basics anymore. They don't need historical dates or anything like that because they can just Google it. However, a neurosurgeon, a professor named Suzanne Greenfield, she stated that children's minds are like sponges. What they are exposed to dictates what they're going to learn and how well they're going to learn it. And another doctor backed her up and said that if children are not provided with the basics, they're not going to be able to take part in creative activities later on. I mean, they'll be able to partake, obviously, but they're not going to do so well. And as far as dealing with abstract concepts and complex issues, they're just not going to be useful because they're going to resort back to that Googling. So that's why I think that in this situation we really need to push technology aside and promote the basics again. Excellence is not a singular act, but a habit. You are what you do repeatedly. Just as in extracurricular activities, whether it be sports or playing an instrument or something like that, the more you practice, the better you'll get. The more you learn, the better you'll get at learning. The more you study, the better you'll get at it because you'll learn yourself and techniques that are helpful to you. Now I'd like to talk about the benefits for young people getting involved in extracurricular activities. First and foremost, exercise. I mean, other people tonight have mentioned how important exercise is. With the rate of childhood obesity and with childhood diabetes, it's really important to keep kids active. They also need to socialize with other children. They need to form friendships, real friendships, not Facebook friendships, and interact with their peers. They need exposure to role models. In an article from the Toronto Star, it was stated that children aren't born with relationship skills and communication skills. It's something that needs to be taught, and parents are the first and foremost important coaches in doing so. However, the more positive role models you have in a child's life, the better they'll be. And they also need to learn real-life skills. They need to learn how to take and receive constructive criticism. They need to learn how to communicate with a team to effectively achieve a goal. And they need to learn discipline. They need to learn that it's not always going to be fun all the time. Sometimes you have to really work hard and suffer a little bit in order to achieve a goal and to have it pay off. Persistence can change failure into extraordinary achievement. That's something that coaches will often say, but it goes into your regular life. So from childhood, these positive aspects of being involved in extracurricular activities become second nature and carry over into adulthood. So when I look at the benefits of adults being involved in extracurricular activities, they very closely mirror the childhood benefits. First, exercise, obviously. Adult obesity is just as big of a problem as childhood obesity. Stress relief. It's important in your everyday life to realize that you need a balance. You need to work hard and play hard. When you're stressed out at work, you have to figure out what you can do to bring yourself back down to normal in high-stress situations. This might be running. This might be something a little more leisure, just playing, having a catch with a friend or something like that. You need social interaction. I play basketball and softball with people from work. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to see everybody outside of work. It looks good to your bosses when you are able to interact with everybody. It's nice being able to have a conversation, not looking over your shoulder like, am I talking to this person for too long? Is my boss going to have something to say about it? So it's a really good opportunity. Networking and exposure to role models. Obviously, coworkers might bring friends, so it's a good way to meet new people. Exposure to role models. I don't care how old you are or how experienced you think you are, there is somebody out there who is more experienced. And if not more experienced, maybe experienced in different ways. So you can kind of give and take from one another to improve something at work or something in life in general or whatever. Not to mention with these kinds of activities, bigwigs from your company might show face, and it might be a nice way to kind of break the ice with them and get your foot in the door, and it might somehow help you later on to advance in the company. Now that I've gone through all the advantages, I'd like to talk about how we as adults can help kids get involved and stay involved. First and foremost, we have to identify their interests. Not all kids are the same, just like everybody else. They have their own specific interests. A lot of parents tend to, want them to do what they did, follow in their footsteps, but you can't do this. You need to allow the child to choose for themselves, because if they are not interested, they're not going to be successful and they're not going to stick with it. After you identify the interest, you have to facilitate involvement. This means, sign them up for a team, take them to a practice and let them try out a sport and see how they like it. Buy them an instrument or rent a piece of equipment that they need, find them a teacher, anything you can do to get them involved. And once they're involved, you need to continually nurture their participation. Show interest. Don't make it a chore to take them to a game or a practice. Actively watch, cheer, give them feedback so that they know that you're enjoying their participation in the activity. So now that I talked about past generations in comparison to current generations, the current generation, and I've talked about all the benefits of extracurricular activities, I hope that I've given you some really important ideas on how we can get kids involved and how we can keep them involved. This is not just a parental issue, it's a societal issue, because whether you have kids or not, these kids are the future of our society, and if we want our society to thrive, they need to thrive. Any comments or questions or? Okay, great. Thank you.